Ay, caray. Ay, caray. Pues bueno, banda. Justamente había planeado empezar este desmadrito a las 8:20. Así que miren. Justo son las 8:20. Vamos a ver cómo va este desmadre. Perfecto. Me preguntaron al principio cómo, y si alguna vez había jugado, así que, y pues no, la neta no. He escuchado buenas reseñas de este juego, así que vamos a intentar ver qué chingados, qué show, qué plan. The end is never the end. Okay.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Stanley Cooper.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on the desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
De esto trata. A ver, quiero ver. A ver si puto. No puedo. En que me salí. A ver, ¿y si me quedo? Me voy a quedar tantito, Acelere el chofer, Ay. ¿Si me quedo aquí? ¿No? Bueno, vamos a salir, ni pedo. ¿Qué pedo? ¿Una lechuga? ¿Eso? Parece una lechuga.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers. Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way. Oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the achievement? Click the door 5 times. Is that all that you think an achievement is worth? No. I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly 5 clicks. Now suppose you were to click the door 20 times. I would say that's the kind of effort that warrants recognition.
Cómo se burla el pinche narrador a la verga. Está vergas. A ver si quiero atrás. Unas 50 veces.
I have to say, I'm still not feeling the satisfaction of witnessing true effort for a noble cause. Perhaps 50 clicks will do it. Yes.
Chale, güey. A ver si.
50 clicks.
$50, yo sí quiero 50 clics. Órale, 50 clics aquí. Rápido. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21,
No, I'm still not feeling it. I want this achievement to have meant something. It has to be a true reward for valiant effort. I want to see some hustle, Stanley. I want to see commitment, a willingness to go all the way, no matter what the cost. Why don't you go put 20 clicks into door number 417?
Pues órale. Órale, que chingue su madre. Vamos a cliquearlo. Porque, pues, ¿por qué no? O sea, pues estamos, ¿no? Para cliquear cosas. 417 veces ya. Estoy picando con los dos. ¡Rápido! ¡Más rápido! 417 veces. Sí se puede. Mira, todo es paciencia. Se tiene experiencia en esto ya. Mira, hasta podemos ver mensajes en lo que... Ay. Me trabé, perdón. Si no me das mi logro, me voy a amputar, pendejo. ¿Cuántos llevaremos? Sepa la verga, pues sí ya llevamos un chingo, ¿no? Dijo 417. Hasta que se rompa. Mames, qué pendejada, güey. No, no te pases de verga. Bueno, ya casi. Mientras voy a compartir el stream, banda, en lo que terminan los 400 y pico. Casi. Creo que voy a poner mi cámara en lo que... La gente que vaya llegando, es que estoy consiguiendo un logro. Dijeron 417, no sé cuántas veces. ¿Creen que sí me lo dé? ¿Cuántos llevaré? Oye, puto, ya. Pinche puto. Ya lo apagué. Yo sí quería ver qué pasaba con los 417. Ni pedo. Es una plantita. Ah.
Oh, great. Now, go click a few times on door 437.
437, a ver, 437, 437. Ah, qué estúpido. Y yo piqué.
Excellent. I think we're getting somewhere. Now, door 415. Let's give it 10 clicks or so.
415, 415. 415.
Now, back to door number 437.
437. A ver, ¿hubo algún cambio? ¿Qué hay ahí? No mames, ese güey estaba jugando solitario a la verga. 437.
Let's see. How about you click on, well, I don't know, the copy machine.
The copy machine.
All right, back to room 417. I'm really feeling it now. I think we're getting somewhere.
Esta mamada.
Okay, now go climb on employee 419's desk.
419, 419, 418, 419. Uy, no puedo, puto. No puedo.
Yes!
Sí, sí
This
pude.
is great!
Ah,
You're
güey.
putting it all on the line, Stanley. I like that.
No.
All right, let's keep it up. Go give me a few clicks on door 416.
416. 416, aquí está para allá. Sí me dieron mi logro a la verga.
Got it!
¡Sí!
Now the copy machine, do that
A
one
huevo.
again.
A huevo, a huevo, a huevo, voy. Mira, a ver qué pasó. Surname, access. ¿Qué? ¿Puedo hacer zoom? Ay, se apagó. Ya ni me acuerdo qué dijo. 416. Ah, no, la impresora
Finish it
no.
off, Stanley. 5 clicks on door
5.
430.
430. 1, 3, 8.
Yes, we did it.
¡Sí!
Wow, that felt amazing. Oh, you really earned it, Stanley. Nothing
huevo.
could hold you back. Yes, I'm very proud of how far we've come today. Just think, only a few minutes
No.
ago, you believed an achievement was worth 5 little clicks. Really now, what were you thinking?
A huevo, yo siempre consigo lo que quiero a la verga, que es mi puto logro. No mames, se lo voy a poner un instante, A ver qué hay aquí. ¿Qué dice? Sales in this quarter. No, pues nos vimos a la verga. This does not make sense.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ah, este es pendejo, yo no voy a hacer
This was
caso.
not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Ábrete. Ábrete. Y yo solamente quería que admirar a ver si había algo. 4B9. Y bien, vergas. ¿Qué quieren que diga? Que haga lo que él quiera, pues nada.
Truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Oh,
But
vale, verga,
eager
no
to
todo
get
cerca.
back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
La primera, no, pues no, me voy derecho. ¿Aquí? Nah, pues estás pendejo, me voy acá. Ahora le cambió algo.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Pues que te valga verga, ¿no, puto? Sí, se pone bien vergas que yumpe.
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley left from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
No mames, güey. Qué pendejada, güey. Que esté jugando a la verga, güey. Esto está demasiado HD. Ay, 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 pues sí me
All of
morí.
his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
A ver, quién sabe, igual. Ay, cabrón, ¿qué pasó? No, espera, espera, espera. Se movió, se movió. Ahí está. Simón. Aquí está. 416. No.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
No.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
Yes.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
En efecto.
Wow. Yes. This room. What a beautiful room. What a gorgeous, gorgeous room. Thank goodness Stanley had taken this detour on his way to the meeting room. Life without having experienced this room was now too horrible even to consider.
Ah, mira, si me puedo. No puedo.
Yes. Really, really worth it being here in the room.
Quiero ver qué
The room
dice.
is so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
A ver. Ah, sí está bonita, carnal. Ese ya se repitió.
At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible that this... But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
No, yo sigo diciendo que voy a ir adelante. A ver si voy... Nah, te creas. Ya te creíste, perro.
Stanley was so bad at following directions it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Don't jump from this cargo. Leave while it's in motion. What? Verga, ya debo $5,000. Valió peto, güey.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself.
Nah, y si yo no
I'm
quiero...
not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
¿For her? ¿Quién es her, puto?
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself.
Ah, no, pues no.
To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Esta mamada, güey. Está raro porque no se bloquea mi pinche mouse. Pero voy a minimizar todo aquí. Igual aquí. Esta ya. Ah. A ver qué hay aquí. Otro 3-2. Si me quiero regresar. Ay, ¿pude haber brincado ahí? Chale, güey, eso no lo vi. A ver, yo quiero. No!
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death.
Esa huevo.
Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Yes, 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 yes. Soy bien poderoso.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
A ver, vamos rápido, vamos rápido, vamos rápido. Me morí una vez más.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors,
Vale,
this was
verga.
not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
Sí.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee
Oye,
lounge
sí creo que
first,
sí, ¿eh?
just to admire it.
Just to admire it. Mira.
The lounge was sublime, a work of art. What was it about this room that called so deeply and so personally to Stanley? Its grace? Its subtle charm? No. Stanley knew it was something deeper, something darker.
Pues ya lo dijo diferente, ¿no? A ver, algo darker.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
A huevo. Mira. 2x1. Tómenle foto. Ya tienen ahí nuevo fondo de pantalla.
Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left.
Chale, güey. Te echan la culpa de que se van. Nah.
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue. But when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
No, yo no confío en los juegos. Ándale, ya estoy aquí sentado. ¿Cómo ves? ¿Cómo ves? Sabía, quiero ver qué dice. No mames. A short history of the relations between Poland and Austria-Hungary. Verga, habla de la Segunda Guerra Mundial. Nah. Nah, ya voy.
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
No quiero.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Yes.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult.
Brincamos por aquí, por acá.
Is that the story
Por
has
acá,
been
¿no?
about nothing but you all this time.
Cállate, cállate,
There's
cállate.
someone you've been neglecting, Stanley.
Ah, pues mejor
Someone
por
you've
aquí.
forgotten about. Really?
Sí, pues a
I was in the
huevo.
middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Well,
Chale,
I don't
güey.
know how to convince you of this, but I really do
yo no
want
confío
to
en nadie.
help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
A ver. Dime algo que hacer para hacer lo contrario, culero. A ver.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Verga, ¿qué hago, güey? A ver, ya sé. Voy a poner mi cámara. Porque nadie me dice qué hacer. Exactamente. Nadie me dice qué hacer. Está bueno el juego, está bueno. La neta, está interesante. A ver dónde se pone la cámara aquí. Ah, claro, es que como tiene que estar conectada, ¿no? Eso no me lo sabía. Ahí está. Ahí está. Ahí estás. Eso, mamona. Eso, mamona. Ahí estamos. Ahí estamos. Ah, qué trucutru, qué bonito se ve esto. Ahora sí. Vamos a seguirle. Dijeron que la roja. A ver. ¿Cuál era la de Matrix? A ver. Pastilla Matrix. Colores. Color. Según el narrador, la píldora azul te permitirá al sujeto permanecer en la realidad fabricada de la Matrix. La roja sirve como dispositivo de localización. Ah, ok, sí, Simón. Es para que encuentres tu body, ¿no? Ay, es que yo no quiero salir, carnal. A mí me gusta la vida loca.
Perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door.
Ay, vale, verga.
I still don't think we're communicating properly.
Nah, que hay otra. Nah, no quiero. Yo no quiero salir del... Ah, mira, que está.
All right, fine. Go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well,
yes.
Don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here.
Wow.
I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all...
Espérate. Si no, voy a volver.
For nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You give me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback.
A ver.
There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
Vamos a ver si te va a hacer caso. Nah, te creíste, perro. A ver.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
Ay, no. No mames, este juego es una mamada, güey. ¿Qué pedo con esto? Sí, la neta sí te doy 5.
Aha! You see, I knew I was onto something. Where do these flashes of inspiration come from? How did I know the game needed a third door? Well, it's instinct mostly, a calling in your gut. I really couldn't say where the idea came from, except that I felt it in my soul. You can't teach that, Stanley. Don't even try. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
A ver. Ay. The Stanley Parable was... Wow, what the fuck. ¿Qué es esto a la verga, güey? Did you know that 21 for please keep the intro sequence? Ah, well, only the first. What the fuck, espérame. No, yo sigo en proceso, perro. Que no tengo amigos a la verga. Oh, mira, only the worst. No mames, se pasan de verga, güey. Ay, no mames a la verga. Esto está buenísimo, güey. A ver otra. Qué pendejada, güey. Chale. ¿Ya viste? El 98.9% son más atractivos que Stanley. Nah. Nah. Pues mira, ¿sabes qué? Voy para acá otra vez.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up. In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
Nada, que se muera la verga.
You
yo ni hijos quiero,
bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me?
Las dos,
Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game, just to ease the pain?
No
Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Ay, qué cagado. ¿Oh?
Aha! Fascinating. What do you think this game is about, Stanley? What's our backstory? What is our motivation? Well, it seems obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creepy man spying on innocent civilians below you from up high in your creep tower, perhaps for some sort of twisted erotic purpose. Yes, that must be it. What a fascinating venture into the experience of total mental depravity. So far, I love everything about this game, Stanley, and it seems there's even more. Come, let's venture outward and see what else is out there.
¿Qué pasó? Órale. Ah, y me vengo por el otro lado. Mira, ¿ya ves? Qué difícil era darme algo que me gustara, puto. Ay, es que te pasas de veras, carnal. En serio, al chile. A ver.
Oh no. No, it can't be. It is. It's an open world game. Good God, quickly block it off.
Chale.
Thank goodness, Stanley. What a close call. You nearly wandered off into that thing. That big, open, just wandering around. No right or wrong directions. No path to follow. You can just go in any... Oh, thank heavens we avoided it. We're out of the woods now, Stanley. Okay, I'm going to get us out of here. Let's find another game. Preferably something with walls. Something with nice, big, insurmountable walls. Okay, I think this will be just the thing.
¿Qué pedo con este juego? ¡Oh! ¡Rocket League! ¡Este es Rocket League!
See, this is exactly what I had in mind. Just a nice big box for you to run around.
No digas
There
mamadas,
is any
güey.
possibility that you could get lost here. Now this is game design. Stan,
¿Sí?
if you manage to get lost in this game, I will be phenomenally impressed.
Chale, güey. Quiero ir a la portería.
Okay, so what exactly do we do here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game sports ball? Stanley, I think it's sports ball. Oh, what fun. We shall run the bases and do a touchdown together. Yes, I think surely we must. Okay, Stanley, here's the ball. Have fun.
Ay, cabrón, a ver. ¡Ah! Ahí está la bola, güey. Gol a la verga. Dale, puto.
Are you doing?
No!
Hold on. What are you doing? Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you. How will you write a story without me? You can't do it. You know that. Stanley, come back.
Gabinet, qué pedo que acaba de pasar. Ay. Ay, no se ve. Ay, no se ve. No. Listo, lo virgo. Ay, ya me dio culo. Está muy oscurito. Atrás de ustedes. Ah, mira, ahí hay una luz. Listo. Órale. Wow. Estoy adentro del juego.
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
¿Qué pido? Vamos a empezar a la verga.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps.
Wow, ese es un final, leámoslo así. No mames, güey, estuvo chido, estuvo chido. Estuvo chido, la verga. No mames, qué pedo con esto, güey. Esto está demasiado HD. A ver, vamos a seguirle, vamos a seguirle.
When Stanley came to a set of
Sí, ya
two
vimos que
open
pasa
doors,
por la de
he
la
entered the
derecha.
door on his left.
A ver.
Yet there was not a single person here
Sí,
either.
no mames.
Feeling a wave of
This for not
disbelief,
getting fired.
Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
I do not alter without consulting why. Ok. Rip Franz a la verga, así que se murió. Chale, ¿cómo borraron? ¿Cómo censuran lo de abajo? Qué pendejada. Ay, ¿dónde está? Number of slides. This charts on the slides. Excelente. We charts on the same side. Excelente. Excelente. Te vas a Interprofessional conflicts. Wow, espera. The success transfers plans life, football, less air, oh, pollution about spring break. Ah, vamos al spring break. 12 days. Excelente, excelente. Que no hablemos, no hables. Well, a huevo, excelente, es un excelente slide, ¿eh? Excelente, excelente. A huevo, bueno, creo que ya terminaron, así que vamos a seguir.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
¿Cómo que no hay nada? ¿Cómo que no hay nada? Tiene que haber algo aquí.
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here. It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
Ya te dije que yo no hago lo que tú dices.
Are you really still in the broom closet?
Simón.
Standing around doing nothing?
Que me recuerda a la casa con mi tío.
Me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
Esta verga es esta mamada. Vamos.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Ay, vamos a ver quién nos escribió. Está cool. A ver, ¿qué pasó? Ah, Simón. A ver. ¿Qué pedo? ¿Por qué el panda? No trust. Están amenazando un pan. A ver, executive bathroom. Wow. Money in the morning, money in the evening, money in the breakfast, money crisp. Mira, güey. No, hombre, Zen. Te va a enviar este pinche fondo. Espérame, déjale, tomo foto. Listo, papá. Time. Extreme bathroom. Excelente. Y lo importante es que no se concentre el aroma. Recordemos que el aroma sale de aquí y se puede ir a filtrar. Entonces, no. El money te hace pestoso, la verdad. El money te hace apestoso. A ver qué hay aquí. ¿Me das permiso? Con permiso. Oh. No se puede. Sé que ya es business, que ahora tan joven. A ver aquí. ¿Qué es esto? Ah, excelente. Business strategy, vete a la verga. Nah. No trust.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the...
¿Qué está pasando? Oh, Dios mío, algo sucedió, pero no sucedió. Pero bueno.
Terrible truth
se vio
that
cool,
his boss had
seguramente.
been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
2845. Excelente. En algún momento va a ser importante. A ver, ¿quiero esto? ¿Dónde lo vamos a usar? Pues aquí.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845. 2845.
¡No! Vale, verga. ¿Viste, perra? Nah.
Forgot, but it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself. And Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
No mames. 2, 8, 4, 5. ¿Viste, puto? Sí me lo supe. Ay, a ver, esto cambió. ¿Dice? No, pues sepa la verga qué dice. Vamos a seguir. ¿Qué es esto? A ver, ¿y si me voy por aquí? No trust. ¿Qué está pasando? Pues quiero bajar. No, yo quiero ir arriba. Nah.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest. as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job.
Yes.
Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Excelente. Ay. Tira arriba.
Whoops. Nope. Never mind. Stanley actually got back into the elevator and went back up. Silly me.
Está verguísimo este pedo.
Why did Stanley do that when he knew that it would just lead back to his boss's office? Well, that's a great question. I just can't wait to find out.
No mames. Esta mamada. A ver. Ya está acá, ¿eh?
Here we are, Stanley. It's your boss's office. Exactly the way it was before you got into the elevator. It's still just exactly what it is. What a decision you've made to come up here and look at the office again. This has fleshed out the plot of the story in new and fascinating ways I could have never anticipated. It's that keen eye for storytelling that you have, an incisive rapid fire of critical plot points, one after the other, weaving a rich tapestry of uncompromising narrative. Wow. I'm bolted to the edge of my seat.
Ay. Ay. Ah, chinga, pues ya era ese. Al cabo que ni quería.
Incredible. Now he's getting back into the elevator and going down again. Ladies and gentlemen, how does he keep coming up with all of this?
Me encanta cómo se burla de un juego de mí. It's fascinating.
Surely this time Stanley will walk forward into the spooky corridor. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Órale. Escape.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Ni modo.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Creo que yo no le hago caso a nadie.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Sí, pues es que ya, la verdad es que si no tengo que escribirle cosas y así, es la vida de caprichosa. Ahí está, no me morí, puto. I believe I can fly. Cabrón.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Ay. No, yo me quiero ir de aquí. Ah, vea, puto.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Excelente. Ya solo hay cajas, ¿verdad? Sí. Solo hay cajitas. Stanley Parable.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
No quiero. Me voy para atrás. Ya me quitaron mi físico. Pues bueno, tengo que avanzar, ni modo. ¿Y si me voy para atrás? A ver. No.
When every path you can
Órale.
walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Oigan, este juego está muy cabrón, o sea. Todo estaba prediseñado, dice, mira. Que mi oficina, que los de los demás, que le toques aquí, que le toques allá, que la impresora. Ah, no, la impresora está allá. Hombre. A ver, a ver, a ver, a ver, a ver. ¿Qué dice? Diagrama de la oficina. Este plano muestra la oficina del comienzo del juego. El camino de la primera juego le construyó a lo largo del desarrollo. Ahora se modifican distintas secciones y diagrama fundamental casi idéntico a la primera versión. Pasillo. El ritmo de la sección inicial era crucial para el juego. El pasillo se movió y se modificó para que los jugadores llegaran a las dos puertas en un buen tiempo. Ay, ¿qué pedo con esto, güey? Las dos puertas. El escenario de las dos puertas abiertas fue la primera pieza concreta del diseño de Stanley Parable. Una vez que se creó esta habitación, el resto del juego surgió como una extensión. Una exploración de la contradicción que se planteaba aquí. No mames, perro. Archivador, archivero, bueno, eso. Mira, sí está jugando solitario el perro, güey. Que lo corran, que lo corran. Chart Pro. Oye, ¿sí decía? No, créditos. Ok, pues, ¿ya terminé el juego? Chale, estos juegos de ahora ya no duran nada. A ver. La oficina. Ay, 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 ay. La oficina, la oficina. Sonidos de botones, a ver. Excelente. A ver, esto es como un museo, está chido. No he visto eso, ya me spoileaste. Pinche juego. Te digo. Órale. Ah, el money, money, money. Ultra Deluxe. Vimos anuncio de la versión, Simón. Se muestran las capturas de la pantalla. Ah, ok. Warzone. No quiero saber esto porque todavía no lo juego, putos. No mames, no digas mamadas, Mary Jane. La sala de empleados. Órale. La oficina. ¿Qué pedo con esto? El cronómetro. No, ya me estoy. Las reuniones. Ay, no voy a ver esto. No. ¡Ah, que la verga! ¡No! A ver. No, ya no quiero saber. Ya me quiero ir. Ya me quiero ir. Oh, ¿qué es eso? Mira nomás, Mary Jane. No, a ver. Cuatro, siete. Es un museo, literalmente. Órale. ¿Cómo sale de aquí? Romarios. Mira. No mames, la roca. Are you gay? What the fuck? A huevo, güey. Y ya luego, ¿ya? ¿Es todo? Eso es todo, amigos. Y ya no tengo ni la menor idea. Vamos a ver. Vamos a seguir. Entramos por aquí, ya entramos por allá. Ah, aquí está el exit.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
¿Sí? What?
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen.
Ay, güey.
But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone
Órale.
else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let...
¡Hola, verga! Moridos. Estamos moridos. En efecto, amor. Pero está raro. Ay, qué pedo con este juego, a ver.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Es hora de hacerle caso, ya. Basta de rebeldía. Diría mi jefa.
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors. He entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Es 2845. Y a ver, yo quiero ver qué pasa si me voy por el elevador. Espérate. Bueno, gracias. Vamos a ver para arriba, ¿se puede? Ah, sí se puede. Yes. Siempre es bueno. Improvisación. ¿Qué? ¿Qué pedo? A ver otra vez. Ay, pues bueno, chicos, ¿cómo está su día? ¿Qué tal les trata la vida? ¿Qué tal les trata la vida? Está muy extraño, ¿no? Esto de andar en loops. Esto de que no sabes cuándo termina, ¿no? Puedes tomar tus propias decisiones. Es medio diferente, ¿no? La cosa es medio diferente. A ver. Nah. Qué chafa, güey. Sí, estaba aquí, la puta madre.
Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human
8, 4, 5.
What could it mean? Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
¿Qué pedo con este juego? Esto está demasiado diferente.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
¿Qué pasó, güey? A la verga, no mames. Uy, pues, chingada madre. A ver, así fuimos para abajo. Fuímonos para abajo. Sí, tengo ansiedad. ¿Y qué? Uy. La tuya.
Stanley walked straight ahead
puta
through the
madre.
large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Voy a escapar otra vez. No, no es cierto, no te creas. Abre la puerta.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. Will you let me, motherfucker? Will you let me take my own decisions? Or not, motherfucker. A ver, ¿qué dice? A, C, M, 1, P, T. Sí, ese dice. Employee Observations Protocol. Es lo mismo. Dale, como me gusta voltear a ver todos los detalles, ¿no? Si me pasó.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed.
Fired?
Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
No hay nadie, no digas mamadas, güey. A ver, ¿y si me voy para atrás? No me deja. Tampoco me deja volver a apagarlo. Sale como suena el clic de la...
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true.
No.
Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
A ver, vámonos.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable.
Está controlando ese puto.
Wasn't it? Was it even
Pues
possible?
al chile voy a hacer lo contrario a lo que dices ahorita.
Spent his entire life utterly blind to the world.
Ay, no me hagan eso, no me apaguen la luz.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Pues, ¿qué pedo? A ver. No, no me deja ver. Ah, mira. Pip, pip, pip. ¿Dónde está el 3? ¿Dónde está el 3? Ah, mira, allá arriba hay otro. ¿Cómo subo ahí? A ver, aquí puedes subir. No me deja. ¿Por dónde subo, perro? No digas mamadas. No mames. Ok, po. No veo. Amigos, no veo a la verga. Aquí, no mames. Dice que no, puto. Dice el 3 o una más así nuevo. Ah, puta madre. Bueno, a ver, vamos para abajo a ver qué pasa. No, pues nada. Voy a tener que apagar esto. ¿Qué dice? No, sepa la verga.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his... Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you?
No.
After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control.
Es que en mi cultura así funciona. Yes es no y no es yes.
Control of the machine for yourself, is that what you wanted?
Ay, cabrón.
Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are said to explode, eliminating the entire complex.
Charlie, ¿cómo te encanta mamar?
Then, let's say 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your
¡Órale,
story
puto!
now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments
¡Apaga la
until the
puta!
bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is.
¡Ah,
More time to talk about you, about me. What all this means, I barely know where to start.
Ya sé.
You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment
Valen
of
verga mis
silence
colegas,
before
güey, que me
your
paguen, puto, ya con eso me
All
conformo.
right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it,
Primero
I
cinco.
simply let you
Primero
sit
cinco.
there in your office
Primero
forever,
cinco.
pushing
Rápido.
buttons endlessly and then dying alone.
¡Ah!
Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing
¿Cuál?
everyone inside.
¿Cuál?
Or I let it burn to a crisp.
¿Cuál?
I have to say this, though. This version of
Cinco.
events has
Ya le
been
piqué cinco,
rather
puto.
amusing. Watching you try to make sense of
Tres.
everything and take
Tres,
back
tres,
the
tres.
control wrested
Tres
away from
taca.
you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next
Tres,
go-around
puto.
will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much.
No, ya
You know
sé
what?
que
To
no quiero
hell with it.
morir.
I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now?
Cállate,
Did you
cállate.
just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room.
Cállate,
These
pendejo.
buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button. Or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death.
¿Uno?
You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're
Hijo de su puta
to
madre.
see you made humble.
¡Ah!
This is not a challenge.
Ya le piqué el uno, puto.
You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left.
Eres una mierda, puto.
30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice.
¿Sabes qué? ¿Sabes
Make
qué?
it count, or don't. It's all the same to me.
Uno.
All a part of the joke.
Dos.
And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say happily ever after.
¡No! Pinche perra. Sí me mató. Desde el principio estaba
Stanley had never
mamada.
seen the office this brightly lit. Was it a sign of something? He hoped it was. He hoped very much that it was.
Es diferente esto. Algo está pasando, algo está pasando. Vamos a apagar todas las compus porque no mames, güey. O sea, también no se mamen. Ah. What? Okay.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Bien, está bien. Está bien, está bien. Como chinga.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Oh no, 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 not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time.
Gracias, güey, gracias. Voy por un cigarrito en lo que este güey se emputa un poquito más, ¿no? Aguántenme tantito, aguántenme. Ahí está. Ay, sí está muy chido este juego. Está muy chido este juego. Ay, cabrón. ¿Me mato otra vez? No, ya no dice nada. Ya se cansó el narrador de andar mamando.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
No sé, voy a bajar, güey.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. "I'm dreaming!" he yelled. "This is all a dream." Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical star field, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been.
Me gusta vivir en mi prisión, perro.
My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Chale.
Stanley began screaming. Please,
¡Ay, hijo de tu pendeja perra madre!
Stanley, I have a boss, I have an office, I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real, I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
¿Qué pedo con esto?
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Excelente. Volví a morir. ¿Algo diferente?
All of his co-work. Oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the achievement? Click the door 5 times. Is that all that you think an achievement is worth? No, 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 no. I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly 5 clicks.
Ya lo
When
hice,
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Vamos a volver a intentar. Voy a abrirlas.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Voy a abrir.
Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets, the keypad. Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway. Quelle surprise.
Ah, a ver esta babada. ¿Qué pasará si vuelvo a subir?
Whoops. Nope. Never mind. Stanley actually got back into the elevator and went back up. Silly me. Why did Stanley do that when he knew that it would just lead back to his boss's office? Well, that's a great question. I just can't wait to find out.
Por 2. Vamos a ver, vamos a ver. Que no mames, me sorprende. ¿Cuántos putos diálogos tiene esta mamada? Y ya quiero bajar, güey. Era mame.
Here we are, Stanley. It's your boss's office. Exactly the way it was before you got onto the elevator. It's still just exactly what it is. What a decision you've made to come up here and look at the office again. This has fleshed out the plot of the story in new and fascinating ways I could have never anticipated. It's that keen eye for storytelling.
Déjame seguir.
Incisive rapid fire of critical plot points, one after the other, weaving a rich tapestry of uncompromising narrative. Wow. I'm bolted to the edge of my seat. Incredible. Now he's getting back into the elevator and going down again. Ladies and gentlemen, how does he keep coming up with all of this?
Was in charge here, man, motherfucker.
Surely this time Stanley will walk forward into the spooky corridor, won't he? Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that but of course, Stanley thought better of it and realized he simply had too much to live for.
Vamos a prender la luz.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
¿Volverá a matar esa mamada?
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true.
El Big
Had
Brother.
Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible?
Yes.
Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Ay.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content.
Yo sí
Walking,
quiero
eating,
apagarlo.
working. all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life.
A ver, la prendemos y la
For
apagamos.
he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Ay, cabrón. Vamos a apagarla. Vamos a seguir la recomendación del querido locutor.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over?
Quiero ver, puto.
Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Me va a encerrar este puto.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Beat the game. Ok. Está chido, interesante. Técnicamente.
Wait, Stanley thought to himself. Am I sure that the orders stopped coming in? How is that possible? They never stopped. Surely I was mistaken.
Content. Si no quiero.
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
A ver. ¿Cuánto llevamos de stream? 1 hora y media. Yo creo que hasta aquí le dejamos. Y ya de Tomorrow, le seguimos. A ver. Sí tenía que prender, ¿no? ¿O no? Ah, mira, 2. New content. Yo creo que hasta aquí le dejamos para ya darle un break a este jueguito. No, está interesante, está novedoso. Ah, qué cool. Pero bueno, muchas gracias. Muchas gracias a todos por estar. Os amo. Adiós.